if you want to talk about Bill Gates, like the first thing he did before that even happened, before the internet even got big, is I believe it was Dell was trying to sell PCs with Linux pre-installed instead of Windows.
Whoa.
So Linux would have had like a decent market share and gotten a lot more momentum than it got as a desktop operating system. What Bill Gates did is he basically he did some sort of deal. I don't know the details precisely, but it was something about like, unless you're exclusive Microsoft Windows on your PCs that you're shipping, you're going to pay a lot more per license. So Dell would pay like, $5 a license or something for Windows, and it would have been $10 or something if they kept selling Linux machines.
So Linux is awesome. For those that aren't familiar, it's open source free operating system that works really, really well. I guess because it's Linux, most people would recognize it because it's similar to Mac OS, right?
Mac OS was derived from a Unix. It was derived more from FreeBSD, which is Unix. Hard to tell the difference, really.
But for all of you out there who use Mac, you might easily understand what Linux is. I think a lot of big chain stores use Linux for their terminals for like self-checkout and stuff because it's free and they have to pay licenses. But it's really amazing. I didn't know that story that Bill Gates basically shut that down because imagine if we did not have Microsoft Windows as the dominant platform. Imagine if it was a free open source technology and you get some jerk like Bill Gates who comes in and sticks his foot, in the door and then stops that from happening so he can control that piece. And now you have tech oligarchs like him specifically. And now he's gone from just being some guy who's like, I think you should have my operating system instead to there's too many people on this planet and I should have less people.
Right. And all of that went, I know, Tim, you bring up antitrust enforcement because that has played sort of a role as a final check here over the decades. It took 10 years of practices like that before finally it was the Internet Explorer integration that finally did trigger that. We've seen far less, antitrust has not provided an effective check in the last bit here on what I think most observers would say is at least somewhat anti-competitive practices among app stores and 100 other things we could go into.